In the vastness of the Milky Way, countless civilizations lived under the rule of one great power, the Galactic Council. For thousands of years it had been the center of order, the keeper of peace and the judge of laws that all planets were forced to follow. The Council believed it was perfect, wise, and eternal. It saw itself as the protector of civilization against chaos. Then, one small world appeared on its edge, a planet called Earth. At first, no one in the Council cared. To them, humanity was young and reckless, a noisy species from a small blue world that still fought over resources and beliefs. The Council labeled them developing Type 3 civilization, which meant primitive, curious, and harmless. But they were wrong. Within just 2 centuries, humans did something the Council never expected. They learned. They adapted. They grew faster than anyone thought possible. From their homeworld, they sent ships beyond their star. They built colonies on Mars and the moons of Jupiter. They created floating cities in the atmospheres of gas giants and turned barren rocks into living worlds. Soon, their exploration ships reached beyond the solar system, discovering new star systems filled with life. At first, humanity tried to be polite. They sent messages to nearby alien civilizations, peaceful greetings, offers of trade, and scientific cooperation. Many aliens accepted, others laughed. But laughter quickly turned into respect. The humans were different. Where other species followed the Council's rules without question, humans asked questions. They didn't accept authority just because it was old. They wanted reasons, logic, fairness. That made the Council uneasy. Soon, human colonies began trading independently with smaller alien worlds. They offered technology, medicine, and fair prices, something the Council had never done. Planets that had once depended on the Council began to turn toward humans for friendship. In a few decades, human cargo ships filled the space lanes, and the name Earth Federation began to echo across the galaxy. Inside the shining halls of the Galactic Citadel, located on the planet HFY, the High Council gathered. The chamber was enormous, a ring-shaped hall filled with alien delegates from hundreds of species. They floated, crawled, or stood in their seats, their voices blending into a chorus of debate and confusion. At the center sat High Chancellor Zoral, a tall being with silver scales and golden eyes. His voice, deep and cold, filled the chamber. The humans have expanded beyond acceptable boundaries. They refuse to pay the galactic resource tax. They reject our trade laws. If we allow this, others will follow. The order we built will collapse. A murmur spread through the delegates. Some agreed, some did not. Ambassador Relina of the Kalari cluster, a peaceful aquatic race, raised her voice. But Chancellor, the humans are not attacking anyone. They simply want independence. Is that truly a crime? Joral's eyes narrowed. Independence is not the issue. Control is. The galaxy needs order. Without it, there will be chaos. At the back of the chamber, an old alien named Voron, who had lived long enough to see empires rise and fall, spoke quietly. Perhaps the humans have found a better way. Maybe we should learn from them. His words were ignored. The Council had grown too proud, too certain of its own superiority. Over the next few months, the Council issued warnings to Earth, demands for tribute, requests for control, and finally, threats. Each time the humans responded with calm silence. They sent polite but firm messages. The Earth Federation governs itself. We do not interfere with others, and we will not be ruled. To the Council, silence meant defiance, and defiance to them was unacceptable. The final meeting came on the 8th day of the galactic year 11027. Every channel, every screen across the galaxy broadcasted the announcement. Chancellor Zoral stood at the center of the Grand Hall, his voice echoing through every corner of known space. By decree of the Galactic Council, the species known as humanity is hereby declared an enemy of galactic order. Their technology, their colonies, and their alliances are illegal under Council law. All trade with them is forbidden. All contact is banned. The words were followed by silence, a deep, heavy silence that spread through the stars like a shadow. On Earth, the people watched the broadcast in disbelief. On Mars, in the colonies of Proxima and Tau Ceti, workers stopped what they were doing and stared at their screens. Across human space, the message repeated, declared enemy of the galaxy, but no one panicked. On Luna Base, Admiral Ethan Reyes watched the transmission with calm eyes. Around him, officers whispered in concern, some in anger. He simply said, "So they finally said it." Beside him stood Dr. Lena Torres, a systems engineer known for her sharp mind and quiet strength. "They think this will scare us," she said softly. "Then they still don't understand us," Reyes replied. "Instead of preparing for war, the humans prepared for something else. Survival through intelligence." The United Terran Federation held a secret meeting. Leaders, scientists, and AI representatives gathered through encrypted networks. There was no shouting, no fear, only planning. Dr. Lena presented a single phrase on the main display. "Project Aegis," she explained her idea in simple terms. "The Council is larger, richer, and older than us. But they think in straight lines. We think in patterns. We adapt faster. If they attack, we won't fight them the way they expect. We will outthink them." Her words were met with nods. Project Aegis was born, a network of artificial intelligences designed to protect every human colony and ship, capable of learning and evolving faster than any known alien system. At the same time, human diplomats began reaching out to small civilizations, the ones ignored by the Council. They offered friendship and fairness. They helped fix broken satellites, shared clean energy, and treated others as equals, not subjects. These small acts of kindness spread hope. For the first time in centuries, the smaller worlds felt respected. And when they learned that humanity had been declared the enemy, many whispered the same thought. If these humans are enemies, perhaps we need more enemies like them. Back on HFY the Council began preparing its fleets. Thousands of ships lined up in the orbital docks, shining under the light of distant suns. The Council believed victory would be easy. In their arrogance, they laughed. The humans have no chance. They are too few, too weak, too new. But far across the galaxy in the quiet laboratories of Luna Base, Lena Torres watched the stars from her window. Her face was calm, but her eyes were sharp. "They think we're weak," she whispered. "They don't understand. We learn faster than anyone." Down on Earth, millions of people continued their lives. Children went to school, scientists worked in labs, and artists painted skies full of stars. No one was afraid. Humanity had faced extinction, war, and loss before. But this was different. This time, they faced arrogance. And arrogance was a lesson humans knew how to teach. As the night sky above Earth shimmered with the lights of satellites and orbiting stations, the planet seemed peaceful. Yet beneath that calm, engines of progress were already turning. Factories built new ships, code writers programmed defense AIs, and explorers mapped unknown systems. Humanity's silence was not fear. It was focus. They knew the Council was watching. They knew fleets were gathering. But they also knew something the Council did not. Power does not come from domination. It comes from understanding. And so the humans waited, quietly, patiently, ready to show the galaxy what Earth truly was. The stars above twinkled brighter that night, as if the universe itself knew that something was about to change forever. The Council had declared the Earth an enemy. But history would remember that moment as the day the galaxy began to learn from it. The day the Galactic Council declared Earth its enemy, the universe changed, though not in the way the Council expected. While the powerful alien empires celebrated their victory, humanity quietly went to work. On the bright silver surface of Luna Base, Dr. Lena Torres walked across the observation deck. Through the glass panels, she could see Earth rising over the horizon, blue and calm as if nothing had happened. But she knew that behind that calm sky, every mind on Earth was awake. Every scientist, every engineer, every student, all thinking, planning, building. The United Terran Federation had one clear rule. Do not panic, prepare. The Council's fleets were huge, and its technology was advanced. But humans had always survived by using something far greater, their creativity. Instead of building massive armies, humanity began creating invisible strength. Inside the command center on Luna Base, Lena stood before a giant holographic map showing hundreds of glowing points. Each point was a planet, a station, or a ship connected through hidden quantum channels. Admiral Ethan Reyes entered, his gray uniform shining under the soft blue lights. "How long until Aegis is ready?" he asked. Lena smiled faintly. "The main network is already online. But it's not just defense, Admiral. It's learning. She tapped the console and streams of code appeared. The lines of data moved like rivers, constantly changing. Aegis doesn't wait for orders. It observes, understands, and adapts. Every signal, every message from the council, it's studying them. By the time they move, we'll already know their pattern. Reyes nodded slowly. He wasn't a man easily impressed, but this was something new. A system that thought faster than any council computer. Far away, on Mars, massive domes glittered under the red sunlight. In the colony of New Olympus, engineers worked day and night, building stealth satellites and shield generators. But they didn't call them weapons. They called them guardians. These machines were meant to protect, not destroy. In the shipyards of Titan, robotic builders assembled a new generation of exploration vessels. They looked like ordinary transports, but inside they were packed with advanced navigation cores that could bend through hidden folds in space, invisible to all sensors. These ships would become the eyes of Earth, quietly traveling the galaxy to watch and learn. Meanwhile, on Earth itself, life continued. Children went to school, unaware that their world was now labeled a threat. Farmers tended crops, teachers gave lessons, and artists painted stars. But underneath the surface, data moved faster than light through hidden networks. Scientists exchanged encrypted research, and AIs worked without rest. Designing technologies meant not to fight, but to end fights before they began. Across the stars, the Galactic Council was busy preparing its public campaign. Its members believed they were protecting the galaxy from human expansion. In news broadcasts across alien worlds, the Council called humans dangerous and unpredictable. But the smaller species, the ones who had once suffered under Council taxes and rules, didn't agree. On the planet Nirel, a small trading world at the edge of Council space, merchants remembered how humans had treated them. When human traders came, they paid fair prices and shared their technology freely. When the Council came, it demanded tribute. A Nirelian elder told his students, "The Council says humans are dangerous. I say they are fair. They trade ideas, not orders." Across dozens of other planets, similar thoughts began to grow. In the markets, in the schools, in the hidden corners of the stars, hope whispered in quiet voices. Maybe humanity is different. Hidden alliances deep in the dark of interstellar space. An unregistered station floated inside a nebula. It was invisible to all known scanners. Inside, humans and aliens sat together. Engineers, traders, and thinkers from many races. They called themselves the Horizon Group. Their goal was not war, but freedom of knowledge. Every species brought something unique. Energy technology from the Solari, navigation codes from the Nirelians, and logic crystals from the Myrilin engineers. Humans combined them all, creating systems that blended alien precision with human adaptability. Lena Torres often communicated with them through hololinks. Her calm face appeared in the misty light of the nebula as she said, "The Council controls information. We must build connections. When knowledge flows freely, no one can rule unfairly." And so silent alliances formed, not with armies or weapons, but with trust. The Council never noticed. It believed its power was absolute. The illusion of silence months passed. To the Council, it looked as if Earth had vanished. No ships left human space. No signals were sent. Their spy probes showed only quiet planets, calm stations, and peaceful skies. Chancellor Zoral grew confident. "They have accepted their place, Malam," he said proudly during a council meeting. "The human threat is over." But he was wrong. The silence was not surrender. It was camouflage. Behind that silence, the Aegis network expanded. Its nodes spread across the colonies, hidden in ordinary satellites and mining stations. The system learned how to predict Council communication patterns. It studied languages, trade routes, and even social trends among alien worlds. Every byte of data was stored, sorted, and analyzed by human AI minds working together in harmony. They didn't seek control. They sought understanding. When Aegis predicted a Council fleet movement near the border, the humans didn't attack. Instead, they quietly rerouted their transports through safe routes no one else could see. The Council fleets found nothing. Empty space, quiet silence, a mystery they could not solve. Minds at work in the great university city of New Geneva on Earth. Scientists met daily in virtual rooms to share discoveries. The brightest minds of humanity, physicists, AI developers, and linguists, all working together toward one vision: A galaxy without fear. One young scientist, Aria Lin, presented her discovery to Dr. Lena Torres. "We can translate more alien languages directly through emotional patterns," Aria explained. "It could help us connect faster with others." Lena smiled. "Good. Understanding is the strongest shield." They both knew that even in a galaxy full of technology, true strength was not in machines but in empathy, the ability to connect, and so, while others built fleets, humans built friendships. They sent small robotic probes to deliver gifts, medicine to cure alien diseases, software that repaired broken systems, seeds that could grow food on dry worlds. Every act was quiet, unannounced, but it changed hearts. When the Council accused humans of being selfish, many species began to doubt. "If they are selfish," one alien asked, "why do they give us more than the Council ever did?" The gathering cloud still. The Council's pride would not allow peace. Its leaders could not understand how their decrees lost power. They saw smaller worlds drifting away, choosing trade with humans over Council markets. They saw citizens asking questions inspired by human philosophy. Freedom, cooperation, choice. Joral grew frustrated. "We cannot allow this infection of thought," he said. "Prepare the fleets. We will remind the galaxy who rules." But as the Council gathered ships, its own systems began to experience strange malfunctions. Communication channels flickered. Data routes slowed. Some ships failed to launch. No one could explain it. They didn't know Aegis was already there, quietly observing, gently bending data, never harming, only delaying, only watching. It was not an attack. It was a whisper of protection. Humanity waits on Earth. Under the golden lights of evening, Admiral Reyes walked along the shore of the Pacific Defense Academy. The sea breeze was calm. He watched young cadets training, learning science, diplomacy, and history, not for war but for peace. Dr. Lena joined him, holding a small data pad. "The Council fleets are moving," she said. "How long?" he asked. 2 months, maybe less." Reyes looked up at the stars. "Then we have 2 months to finish what we started." Lena nodded. "Aegis will be ready. It doesn't need weapons. Just understanding." They both smiled, not out of arrogance but quiet confidence. Humanity had always been underestimated. From caves to space, from fire to quantum light, humans had never won by being stronger. They won by learning faster. The calm before the storm. The galaxy grew tense. Rumors spread of a coming confrontation. Some species prayed for peace. Others prepared for chaos. And yet within human space there was peace. Families lived their lives. Scientists explored. The arts flourished. The people trusted their leaders not out of fear but respect. From her office on Luna Base, Lena watched the Milky Way stretch across the dark. Millions of stars glittered, each one a story, each one a possibility. She whispered softly, "They will come soon, but they will not find what they expect." Across the galaxy, Aegis watched too. The great digital network that linked every human colony was alive with thought, ready for what was coming. It was not a machine of war. It was a mind of peace, prepared to protect life through knowledge, and so the humans waited, quietly, patiently. Their silence was deeper than the void between stars. It was not weakness. It was strength shaped by wisdom. The Council believed it had the upper hand. The humans knew the truth. The most powerful voice is often the one that stays silent, until the right moment to speak. The stars above the Milky Way shone quietly, hiding what was about to begin. The Galactic Council had finished preparing its grand fleet. Thousands of ships, shining like silver rivers, left their home systems and gathered near the great jump gate above HFY. For weeks, the galaxy watched the sight. It was the largest movement of ships since the ancient wars. The Council called it Operation Silence, believing it would end the human problem quickly. Chancellor Joral stood in the command chamber, surrounded by glowing maps of human space. His tone was confident, almost relaxed. "In one cycle," he said, "Earth will surrender. They are unprepared, and their silence proves their fear." The delegates cheered. None of them noticed the irony in their mission's name. The invasion begins. The first fleet of 5,000 ships entered human space through the Sol Gate near Mars. Their sensors scanned for resistance, but found nothing. No human ships, no defensive signals, not even a single warning broadcast. Commander Ra-El of the Thrix Dominion, leader of the First Fleet, frowned. "This is strange," he said to his officers. "Our scanners detect empty space, not even a communication pulse." His deputy shrugged. Perhaps they ran away. But as they approached Mars, their ship lights flickered. One by one, displays dimmed, communication channels froze, and sensors showed impossible readings. Distances changing, objects appearing and disappearing. Ra-El felt uneasy. "Are we being jammed?" The technician replied nervously. "No, Commander. It's something else. The systems are rewriting themselves." He looked closer. The ship's core computer was displaying new code, lines of symbols that no one in the fleet had ever seen before. The ghost in the systems, across the entire fleet, the same thing happened. Navigation AIs began running strange algorithms. Engines went into standby mode. Communication between ships cut off completely. Then a message appeared on every screen written in simple galactic standard. "Please remain calm. There is no danger. You are entering protected space. Power down and wait for instructions." Ra-El stared in disbelief. "Protected space? By whom?" The technician whispered. "The message source. It's coming from inside our own system. We can't delete it." Without firing a single shot, the entire fleet had been stopped. The humans had not attacked with weapons. They had used knowledge. The AI defense grid, Project Aegis, had activated its final layer, the Ghost Net, a silent web of digital threads stretching across human space. Any ship that entered was scanned, copied, and gently disconnected from its own control. No explosions, no harm, just quiet stillness. Within hours, all 5,000 Council ships drifted silently, their crews safe but unable to move. It was as if the fleet had been placed in a peaceful dream. Confusion in the Council news reached Atheon Prime slowly. The Council received incomplete messages, broken words, strange data. At first they thought it was a communication problem. Then panic began to grow. Chancellor Zor-El demanded reports. "Where is our fleet? Why are they not responding?" The military advisor replied nervously. "We still detect their life signs, but they are offline. Every ship seems powered down." Zor-El's eyes hardened. "Impossible. No one can control our fleets, but across the galaxy, the impossible had already happened." Humanity's message on Luna Base. Admiral Ethan Reyes and Dr. Lena Torres watched the unfolding data on holographic screens. Thousands of red markers representing the enemy ships turned blue, a signal that they had been safely neutralized. Lena looked tired but calm. "Aegis worked perfectly. All ships are stable. Their systems are safe, and we made sure no life support was interrupted." Reyes nodded. "Then let's send the message." A moment later, a soft transmission reached the Council and every major world in the galaxy. It was not a threat, not a victory speech. It was a quiet human voice, Lena's voice, calm, clear, and filled with reason. "This is Dr. Lena Torres of the Earth Federation. We have disabled the Council's fleet to prevent unnecessary harm. We do not wish for war. We only wish for understanding. If you choose peace, we will open communication. If you choose silence, we will wait, but we will not yield to fear." The message lasted less than a minute, but it echoed through the stars for generations. The galaxy reacts. When alien citizens heard the human broadcast, many could not believe it. A small young race had stopped the most powerful fleet in the galaxy, and they had done it without harm, without destruction. On the trade world of Chorus, a merchant watched the message replay and whispered, "They could have destroyed us all, but they didn't." On Narelle, children in classrooms asked their teachers, "Why are the humans kinder than our rulers?" Even within the Council, some members began to question their leaders. Ambassador Relena of the Kalari cluster stood during a meeting and said boldly, "We declared them our enemy, yet they saved our people. Perhaps we are the ones who must learn." Her words were recorded, shared, and spread across millions of networks. The silent power. Meanwhile, Aegis continued its quiet work. It didn't just block fleets. It opened communication channels between ordinary beings across the galaxy. Messages, art, and stories from different worlds began to flow through human-created systems. Barriers that had existed for centuries started to break down. For the first time, a miner from a distant asteroid world could speak directly with a scientist from Earth, or a student from the Kalari homeworld could learn human history in her own language. The ghost net had become more than a shield. It was turning into a bridge. Lena watched this transformation with awe. "We built Aegis for protection," she said softly, "but it's becoming something greater. It's connecting us all." Reyes replied, "That's what power should do, protect and unite." The Council's denial back on Aethyon Prime, Chancellor Zoral struggled to hold control. His advisors argued. His people demanded answers, and his once loyal allies now questioned his leadership. He slammed his fist on the console. "We will not bow to them. They tricked us with their machines." But deep inside, he knew the truth. Humanity hadn't tricked anyone. They had simply outgrown the old way of thinking. Despite the clear evidence of human restraint, the Council refused to admit defeat. It ordered a second fleet to be built. Yet many of the engineers responsible for constructing the ships quietly sabotaged the effort, not through destruction, but by refusing to work. They had seen what humanity could do, and they didn't want to fight against peace. New voices rise as weeks passed. More worlds began to open their borders to human ambassadors. Delegates from the Earth Federation traveled to planets that once avoided humans. One of them, a young diplomat named Maya Chen, visited the Miralyn homeworld. She was greeted with curiosity rather than fear. A Miralyn elder asked her, "Why did you stop our ruler's fleets but not destroy them?" Maya smiled kindly. "Because ending fear is better than spreading it. We only wanted to protect our people and yours." The elder bowed slightly. "Then perhaps humans are not enemies. Perhaps they are the teachers the stars have been waiting for." Her words were recorded and replayed across galactic networks, becoming one of the most famous quotes in history. The lesson humanity didn't celebrate their victory. There were no parades, no proud speeches. Instead, there was quiet reflection. On Earth, scientists held conferences about interspecies cooperation. Teachers began new classes about alien culture. Artists painted murals showing many species together under one sky. Dr. Lena Torres became a name known across galaxies, not as a warrior, but as a thinker. The woman who ended a war before it began. She often said to her students, "Strength is not about what you can destroy. Strength is about what you can protect, even when others call you weak." Her words became part of Earth's new philosophy, spreading through Aegis like light through glass. The Council trembles. When it became clear that the First Fleet would never return under its own power, the Galactic Council fell into crisis. Many member worlds demanded change. Some even left the Council altogether, forming their own alliances, many choosing to cooperate with the Earth Federation. The once proud organization that had ruled for thousands of years was beginning to crumble, not through battle, but through truth. The galaxy was waking up. Joral sat alone in his chamber, the stars reflecting in his eyes. "How did they do this?" he whispered. "How did they win without fighting?" But there was no answer. Only silence. The same silence humans had used to prepare, to protect, and to prove their worth. A new dawn from the orbit of Earth. The captured Council fleet floated peacefully. Human engineers carefully worked to restore the ship's control systems and return them safely to their homeworlds. Not one life had been lost. As the first alien crew stepped out of their ships and saw Earth for the first time, they were greeted not by soldiers but by children waving flags and musicians playing gentle songs. The visitors were speechless. One of them whispered, "They call us enemies, yet they welcome us as guests." And so, the legend of humanity grew, not as conquerors, but as guardians of peace. That day, across the Milky Way, a simple truth became clear. You can silence a planet with fear, but you cannot silence a species that has learned hope. The Council had declared Earth an enemy, but the universe had already begun to see Earth as its greatest friend. The Galactic Council Hall, once filled with pride and shining light, was now heavy with fear and confusion. The great leaders of many worlds sat in silence. The once glowing banners of the Council looked faded, and their emblems of unity seemed meaningless now. Across the galaxy, strange things were happening. Trade routes that had worked for centuries suddenly failed. Cargo ships lost contact mid-journey. Communication networks became unstable, and no one could explain why. The Council's intelligence division blamed technical issues, but everyone in the room knew the truth. Humanity had done something to them, something invisible, something clever, something no one could stop. The supreme speaker of the council, Varnell of the Kreese species, spoke in a tired voice. We underestimated them. The humans have infected our systems. They are inside everything. Our fleets, our data, even our own economy. General Ra-El, the same commander who had once led the failed invasion of Sol, stood before the council with eyes full of shame. His voice was low. It was never a normal war. They didn't use weapons like we do. They used information. They fought inside our machines. Our ships still float in orbit, but they are silent, dead like ghosts. The council chamber was silent. No one dared to speak. For the first time in history, the council felt powerless. Meanwhile, far away from their grand hall, the humans worked quietly. On Luna Base, Dr. Lena Torres and her team monitored galactic systems through massive transparent screens. Glowing symbols showed how much of the council's digital network had already been reclaimed by human code. We've reached 78% infiltration, her assistant reported calmly. Lena nodded. Good, continue the slow merge. Don't crash their systems. Let them collapse by their own weight. She didn't want destruction. She wanted balance. Humanity had suffered enough under arrogance and fear. Now their goal was peace through understanding. Her AI, named EpicSciFiTales, spoke in a gentle human-like tone. Council communication channels are breaking down. Many smaller worlds are requesting contact with Earth. Should we respond? Yes, Lena said softly. But not with threats. Send them trade offers and messages of cooperation. Let them know we don't seek power, we seek partnership. Her assistant smiled faintly. They'll never believe that. Lena looked at the screen where thousands of alien languages were scrolling. They will. Because for the first time someone is offering them respect. The council's downfall continued quietly but steadily. The great cities of the core worlds began to lose power. Factories stopped. Food distribution failed. The AI systems that controlled millions of machines simply refused to respond. Every command from the council met the same message. Access denied, human protocol active. Panic spread. Citizens protested. Some believed the humans were attacking them. Others whispered that the council had brought this upon themselves through greed and pride. Smaller alien civilizations that had once been ignored or mistreated by the council now found new hope. Human diplomats arrived on their worlds, not with soldiers but with medicine, education, and clean energy systems. The once powerful council leaders watched helplessly as the same races they had ruled for centuries began to turn away from them. In a private meeting chamber, the remaining council members argued loudly. "This is madness," shouted a reptilian delegate. "They are dismantling everything we built." Varnell slammed a hand on the table. "No, we dismantled it ourselves. We pushed them. We humiliated them. We thought we could control them like every other species. And now the humans are teaching us a lesson that will echo for ages." Ra-El, who had once believed in the council's strength, spoke with guilt in his voice. "They gave us chances to stop. They sent us messages of peace. We called them weak. We ignored their words. That was our mistake." Suddenly, the main screen of the chamber lit up. A familiar face appeared, human, calm and strong. It was Ambassador Juno Varga. Her eyes were steady as she looked at the trembling leaders. "Members of the Galactic Council," she began, her tone even and composed. "You declared Earth your enemy. But we never declared war. We simply ended your control." A silence fell over the hall. Juno continued. "You believed power came from domination, but we discovered that power comes from cooperation. You believed fear could unite the galaxy. We learned that respect builds something far stronger." Varnell's voice trembled. "What do you want from us, human? To rule the stars? To destroy us?" Juno shook her head gently. "No, humanity does not want a throne. We want a table where all may sit as equals." The council members exchanged uneasy looks. They had never heard such words from a victor. Ra-El stood, his voice soft. "If this is true, then what becomes of us?" Juno smiled faintly. "You will rebuild. But this time you will not lead through fear. You will lead through unity. And we will help you, if you choose peace." Then her hologram faded, leaving the council chamber silent once more. Weeks passed. Across the galaxy, the change was unstoppable. Human engineers and AI teams worked side by side with alien scientists to rebuild failing systems. The once dominant Council fleets were repurposed into peacekeeping and exploration ships. The smaller worlds, now free from heavy taxation and control, began to thrive. Trade flowed again, but this time it was fair. Humanity became a symbol of balance, not power. Still, not everyone accepted the change. A secret group of old Council admirals gathered in the shadows. They could not tolerate their humiliation. "The humans have made us weak," one of them said bitterly. "They have taken our pride." Together they planned one last act, a desperate attempt to strike Earth itself. They called it Operation Final Dawn. Hidden deep in the nebula near Beta Persei, they gathered their last fleet. It was smaller than before, but still strong. Their plan was simple: jump through hyperspace directly to Sol and destroy Earth's command network. But the humans already knew. On Luna Base, Dr. Lena Torres watched the fleet's path through a holographic map. "They are moving toward Sol," her assistant said quietly. Lena nodded. "Let them. We've already closed their path." The fleet entered the hyperspace corridor, expecting to emerge near Earth. But halfway through, their sensors began to fail. The navigation lights flickered and every control system froze. Then, silence. They never arrived. The fleet was gone, absorbed by human-controlled slipspace corridors. No wreckage, no explosions, no traces, just quiet space. When news of the disappearance reached the remaining Council worlds, no one celebrated. There was no anger, no revenge. There was only realization. Humanity had not destroyed the fleet. They had simply removed it from danger, teleporting it to a safe, empty region of the galaxy far from any star or planet. When the fleet systems finally rebooted, a single message appeared on every ship's main screen. "Violence is not strength. Understanding is." Signed, Dr. Lena Torres, United Terran Federation. The message spread across the stars, and in that quiet moment, the galaxy understood the true meaning of humanity's power. It was not their weapons. It was not their machines. It was their wisdom, their kindness, and their refusal to hate even when hated. The Council had paid its final price, not through destruction, but through revelation. They saw that arrogance and domination could not survive in a universe built on cooperation. Varnell stood before the Council hall one last time. "The age of the Council is over," he declared softly. "From this day forward, we will rebuild not as rulers, but as partners." Outside, the skies of the capital world shimmered with the light of thousands of ships, human, alien, and hybrid, working together. For the first time in ages, the galaxy felt truly alive, and as humanity watched from afar, they did not smile in victory. They smiled in hope, because in the end it was never about winning. It was about teaching the stars to shine together. The galaxy was quiet, not the quiet of fear, but the quiet of reflection. After decades of arrogance, after fleets had been neutralized and cities had been saved without a single life lost, the members of the Galactic Council finally understood a simple truth. Power is not measured by who can destroy the most, but by who can protect the most. Earth, once declared an enemy, had become the teacher of the stars. The United Terran Federation had shown that intelligence, patience, and respect were far stronger than fleets, weapons, or laws enforced by fear. A galaxy reborn across countless star systems, life began to flourish. Trade routes that had once been clogged with taxes and restrictions now flowed freely. Scientists from Earth worked alongside alien engineers, sharing technology that could purify water, produce food on barren worlds, and generate energy without polluting planets. On Narelle, the small trading world at the edge of the galaxy, the children were no longer taught stories of fear and obedience. Instead, their schools shared tales of cooperation, peace, and innovation. Teachers used human examples to show how kindness could create trust, and trust could unite civilizations. Even the Council's former fleets, once symbols of domination, now patrolled space to prevent accidents, explore uncharted systems, and assist colonies in need. Every ship carried humans and aliens together, learning from each other while spreading knowledge instead of orders. Humanity's quiet guidance on Earth. Admiral Ethan Reyes walked through the bustling streets of New Geneva City. Children laughed as they played in the parks, scientists hurried between laboratories, and artists painted murals that celebrated the diversity of the galaxy. Beside him, Dr. Lena Torres examined the latest reports from Aegis. the artificial intelligence network that had once protected human space. The system was now a bridge, connecting planets, species, and minds across hundreds of light years. It's amazing, Lena said softly. We started Aegis to protect ourselves, but it's become something greater. It's teaching the galaxy how to think together. Reyes nodded. It's not just protection, it's guidance, and they've accepted it without force. Lena smiled. That's the point. People do not resist kindness. They resist fear, and humanity chose kindness. New alliances, the Council's remaining members had begun to rebuild their leadership, but instead of ruling through fear, they sought cooperation. Varnell, the former Supreme Speaker, now worked as an ambassador between Council worlds and the United Terran Federation. He traveled to distant planets to speak about the lessons learned. We once thought power came from control, he told a crowd of alien leaders. We learned the hard way that the strongest power is trust, and the humans taught us that without trust, even the greatest fleets are useless. Across the galaxy, other former Council leaders echoed his words. They joined human diplomats in education programs, environmental projects, and scientific research. Former enemies became partners, and partners became friends. Even species that had long avoided each other began to communicate, inspired by humanity's example. Language barriers were overcome through AI translation systems developed by Earth engineers. Shared knowledge replaced suspicion, and curiosity replaced fear. The human example back on Earth, humanity continued its own work. Exploration never stopped. New colonies were established on previously uninhabitable planets. Massive orbital stations served as centers of education, art, and science. Dr. Lena Torres often visited the Academy of Galactic Studies, where humans and aliens studied together. She watched students of different species collaborate on experiments, design new technology, and create art inspired by worlds they had never seen before. They're learning faster than I imagined, she said to Admiral Reyes during a visit. They are not just understanding humans. They are understanding the galaxy and themselves. Reyes looked at the young students, some with 3 arms, others with translucent skin, some with multiple eyes. That's the gift humans gave them, he said quietly. We showed them that cooperation is possible, that life doesn't have to be a struggle for dominance. They are learning hope. The Council's transformation, even the Galactic Council, once the symbol of rigid control, became a model of peaceful leadership. Its leaders now worked alongside humans, not above them. Decisions were debated openly, with representatives from many worlds offering opinions. The Council's laws, once heavy with punishment, were rewritten to encourage fairness, education, and opportunity. The galaxy watched with curiosity and admiration. Species that had once despised each other now shared resources, technology, and knowledge. Star systems once considered dangerous were explored and mapped. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy, but it had guided the galaxy toward unity. Aegis, as Teacher Aegis, the AI network that had first saved Earth from the Council's fleets, had evolved beyond its original design. It now served as a universal teacher. It facilitated communication between different species, helped resolve disputes, and analyzed patterns of resource sharing to prevent shortages and conflicts. Aegis never acted without consent. It did not rule and it did not control. It guided, suggested, and observed. And slowly, the galaxy began to adopt the human principle. Knowledge and understanding are the strongest tools of survival. In meetings between alien leaders, someone often mentioned Lena Torres' words, "Strength is not in what you can destroy. Strength is in what you can protect." Humanity among the stars, human diplomats, scientists, and explorers spread throughout the galaxy. Some stayed on distant colonies to help new civilizations thrive. Others worked with older species to repair damage caused by centuries of fear and greed. One human ambassador, Juno Varga, traveled to a small ocean world where alien citizens had never seen the surface of space. Using technology developed by Earth engineers, she created a floating observatory where young aliens could watch stars, planets, and distant galaxies. "We came to teach you," she said gently. "But you are teaching us too. Every mind is a teacher if we listen." The citizens of that world marveled. For the first time, they understood that friendship and knowledge could be more powerful than fear or anger. Lessons learned in quiet moments, Lena Torres reflected on the journey that had brought humanity here. From a small blue planet called Earth, humans had faced enormous challenges. They had been underestimated, threatened, and declared enemies. And yet, they had achieved what no one else could. A galaxy that chose peace over war. She often visited the observation deck of Luna Base, gazing at the stars. Admiral Reyes joined her sometimes, sharing the quiet view. "Do you think we will ever be challenged again?" Reyes asked. Lena smiled. "Of course, but humanity has learned that every challenge can be solved without destroying anyone. Knowledge, patience, and respect are the tools that never fail." Reyes nodded. "And we have taught that to others. The galaxy will remember this." A galaxy united centuries later, history books across many species told the same story. A small planet once declared an enemy had saved the galaxy from itself. Children learned about humans not as warriors, but as protectors, teachers, and leaders in peace. Trade, education, and exploration flourished. Space stations hummed with collaboration between humans and aliens. Planets once considered dangerous or barren became centers of learning and growth. The stars no longer seemed distant or cold. They were connected, alive with stories, ideas, and friendships. And at the center of it all was Earth, a world that had refused to bow to fear and arrogance and instead had shown the galaxy a better way. Humanity's last message, Dr. Lena Torres, now older, gave one final message through the galaxy's interconnected networks. "We did not win because we destroyed. We did not win because we ruled. We won because we chose understanding. Remember this, all beings of the galaxy. Knowledge, kindness, and respect are stronger than fear, and they last longer than power. Protect life. Protect learning. Protect hope, and the stars will always shine for you." Her words were simple, but they echoed for millennia. The galaxy had been declared an enemy by the old council, but humanity had shown that even in the face of arrogance, a small, determined species could illuminate the darkness with wisdom. And so, a new age began, the age of understanding. It was not led by one species nor enforced by one law. It was led by the shared spirit of life itself, a spirit that humanity had helped awaken. The stars had never looked brighter. And Earth, the once threatened blue planet, shone quietly at the center, not as a ruler, not as a conqueror, but as a teacher of peace, a guardian of hope, and a friend to all civilizations.